All right, class, these are notes basically to just how to solve any side of a triangle using trig identities. This time we're not using easy angles like 45, 45, 90, or 30, 60, 90. We are using 50 degrees. And I'm going to show you how to solve for the missing angles using the calculator. This is the calculator I recommended you get. Some of you might not have that one, but you need the buttons sine, cosine, and tangent to make this work. So I know that this corner here is 90 degrees. And this side is 3. Now I'm going to label the other sides based on SOHCAHTOA. So I got to label opposite, hypotenuse, adjacent. Longest side is always hypotenuse. Side across from the 50 is always the opposite. And side next to it, or the leftover side, is adjacent. Now, let's say I wanted to solve for one of these sides, either hypotenuse or opposite. I always have to make sure that I'm using adjacent because it's the only value I know. So I can only use cosine or tangent because they have adjacent sides being used to it. Now, if I want to solve for opposite first, I'm going to select tangent because tangent is opposite over adjacent. I'm going to use these 50 degrees right here. Opposite over adjacent. So tangent of 50 degrees equals opposite, so the side we don't know, over adjacent, 3. Now all we want to do is get this opposite by itself, so we multiply both sides by 3, and we get that the opposite equals 3 times tangent of 50 degrees. I'm going to go to my calculator. Okay. I'll start typing it in. So 3 times tangent of 50. Enter. So that means the opposite side is 3.58. Approximately 3.58. Okay. Now, I can use Pythagorean theorem now to solve for the hypotenuse, but I'm going to keep using trig ratios to show you how I can get it with that. Okay? So again, the opposite is 3.58. Now I'm going to use cosine of 50 degrees equals adjacent. So 3 over the hypotenuse. And I'm going to leave hypotenuse in the one letter so it doesn't get too confusing. So I'm just going to call it h. So my only goal now is to solve for h. So I multiply both sides by h. Okay. And I get that 3 is equal to h times cosine of 50 degrees. Divide both sides by cosine of 50 degrees. The cosine of 50 degrees has to stick together. You can't separate that. Okay. And I get that the hypotenuse is equal to 3 divided by cosine of 50 degrees. Go to my calculator. Okay. 3 divided by, and I'll put a parentheses just in case, cosine of 50 degrees. I get the hypotenuse is 4.67. So this hypotenuse, 4.67. Okay, so this is how you solve for missing sides of a triangle using trig identities. Okay, these are primarily notes for you to reference back when you're struggling and need extra help.